This video is about the SL cycles on the Heidenhain control, and these SL cycles, you can see it here if I just select it. What they actually allow you to do is to you draw a pocket, and that pocket can be any shape you want, and the control can rough it out. It can rough it and it can finish it, and it comprises of a few cycles, but the first two, which is cycle 14 here and cycle 20, you've got to have. So the 14 tells it what label to go to, and this is where your shape is stored, which I'll be showing you in a minute. And then the contour data is about how you're going to rough this thing out. And then these 21, 22, 3 and 4, these are optional. So you've got one which allows you to sort of drill this thing out, and then you've got 22, which is your roughing cycle, and 23 and 24 you can finish the sides and you can finish the bottom. So they're all a matter of choice, really. So just have a quick look at what I'm actually going to make. This is it on the graphics, and this is the shape, really. So I'm going to effectively draw this shape and then tell it to rough it out. So that's my pocket. So first of all, my cycle 14 is this just asks you for the label. And if you look at my program, you'll see at the end of my program I've put an M30. I've added an M30. M30 is stop and rewind, so it will tell the program to stop and go back to the beginning, so it won't carry on from there. Just press M on your keypad and that will give you the option to write in an M code. So after this M30, I've got this label 1, which is the start of my shape. And I actually draw my shape, and that's all I do. But I'll show you more on that in a minute. But there's no start point. It's just linear moves and circular moves, really. And you just draw that shape. And really the control does the rest. So looking at the other parts, we've got this cycle def 14, which, as I say, calls that label 1. And then you've got your contour data. From your contour data, you tell it the depth. You tell it the overlap, which is K equals Q2 times R. And what that means is that if you put 1 in there, it's 1 times the radius. So in other words, the width of your cut will be the radius of your tool. If you put 1.9 in there, it'll be nearly the full diameter. That's as big as you can put in. Or you wouldn't want to, because if you couldn't use the full diameter as a width of cut. So that's your width of cut. And then you've got the amount of you'd like to allow on for finishing, the amount you'd like to allow on the floor for finishing, and then the surface of where this pocket is, which is normally 0. Then you've got a clearance. This is where you wrap it to, and then you feed from here. So you don't want that too high for any wasted movement. And then this is your clearance above the job. So you'll wrap it to this at the start and you'd wrap it away to this at the end. This rounding radius is for your corners. So if you've got 0 in there, on a sharp corner, it will just go straight into that sharp corner. So you can get like a bouncing of the tool. So you want 0.5 or 1 mil in there just to stop that from bouncing in the corner. And then you've got this direction. This is the direction of cut. So that's normally going to be positive, which is climb milling. Then we're going on to this roughing cycle. We've got the depth of cut. We've got the feed rate going down. Got the feed rate going round it. And then we've got this coarse roughing tool. This is if we were sort of semi-roughing it, if we'd roughed it with a bigger tool. But we don't need that. We're going to have 0 in there. And then if you put a feed rate in here, this is if you want it to reciprocate. You want it to go downwards but move from side to side as it's going down. So that it won't plunge then. It will do this reciprocating feed rate. This is it coming out of the pocket. So it's 9999 rapid. And then this factor is for if the tool ends up cutting at full width, which it sometimes does, it will slow it down. So you can put a factor on that to slow that down. And we've got that in at 100%, so it won't do anything like that. And then this is telling it the strategy that we want to use. So We want it to use this this 0 for the find strategy, and then we have to call this cycle. And what that does is it calls that shape and then applies all this data to it. If we move down and we actually look at the shape, you can see I'm going up to 50 and 40, and then I'm going across to X12, sticking a rad in, down to Y0. I've got a chamfer in there, and this is just my shape. I'm going round my shape, and I ended up exactly where I started at X50 and Y40. So I've gone around this shape, and I'm using this RR because I'm gonna draw this in a clockwise fashion. So what we do is we draw in a clockwise fashion, and when we're doing a pocket we do RR, and when we're doing, if we're going to do a mountain inside that pocket, we would use RL. So it's always going to be RR, and we're always going to program it around going clockwise, but that doesn't mean it's going to cut that way. We've already told it that we want a climb mill, so it's a little bit strange, but that's how we do it. So we go RR and then we program it round clockwise. So if we start this now, you'll see that it's coming in and it's feeding its way around. I can speed this up a bit as it goes along. And it's going to machine out all my shape like that. Speed that up a bit. That's doing that, moving down in the steps that I've asked it. And that's created my pocket. So what I want to show you now is that after this first label, I've actually added another shape. Now this time, I still want to go round clockwise, but I put an RL, and this will tell the control that this is actually a mountain. It's actually in the middle of this part. So what I've done is just defined a circle really. So I've got, it starts at X minus 10 and Y 10, and I've gone RL because now I'm telling it where this shape is. So this is how you define your mountain type shapes. You use RL and go clockwise, and then on your pockets you go RR and you still go clockwise. So you just follow those rules. And I've said that's where just turn that, that's where my circle center is. Then I'm going round clockwise to that point, and that's the end of my label. Is I've added this to my cycle def 14. So in here you'll see that you can add, it adds like this //4, and you can add other labels. So now it's got label 1 and it's got label 2. So let's have a look now at how this looks when we run it in the graphics. You'll see what it does. So I'm coming in. I'll run that again because it's just way too fast, and I'll just speed this up a bit as we're going along, and you'll see that it's going to leave this sort of island. We call it an island. I think I might have been calling it a mountain. Well, it's an island, but it's left that island in the middle, and that's that other circle that I've defined. And don't forget, that could be any shape you wanted as well. So that's pretty good. That's how complicated you can make this if you want. So now let's recap on what I've covered here. So when you look at this program, I've broken it down into the different sections. So this is the first part. Obviously you got your blank form, you got your tool call, then it goes to a position, and then you've got this section, this cycle def 14 contour, and all this tells it is where this shape is stored. And if you remember, I've got two shapes. I've got one which is the outside and two which is the inside, which is just a circle. Then I come on to this cycle def 20, which is the contour data, which tells it everything it needs to know about the contour, the milling depth, the overlap of the tool, the allowances, clearances. this rounding radius that stops it bouncing into the corners, and then this rotational direction. And then this second piece, then it comes into the cycle 22, which is the actual roughing out cycle. So those first two is got to have, but this one you can have a roughing cycle, you can have a finishing cycle, drilling, whatever, and it calls, and that one has to have a cycle call. So that's got the plunge depth, the depth of the cuts, the feed rates, whether there's another tool involved, the rapid feed rate coming out. So that's the roughing side of it. And then this bit here, this is at the end here, you can see label 1, which is the shape of the outside, and label 2, which is the shape of the inside. We're programming a clockwise fashion, which has nothing to do with the way it cuts. This is purely about drawing the shape. So we tell it RR, but it's not going to compensate to the right. This is just telling it where we're going effectively. So if you think that you program a pocket using RR and program it clockwise, and then if you look at label 2, you'll see that I'm programming this this island or mountain or whatever you want to call it, and now I'm saying RL, and I'm going round again from round it clockwise. But this is how it knows the difference, whether it's a pocket or whether it's an island. So it uses this RR and RL to tell it. And the important thing to note about these shapes is we're only drawing the shape. So it's just as if the shape starts at 50-40 on this label 1, moves around to the X12 and so on and so on. And just before that label 0, you'll see that it comes back to where it started. So it's just like drawing it with your pencil and not taking your pencil off. But there's no beginning point for the cutter or anything like that. Don't worry about that. The control sorts all that out. It automatically uses the compensation for the tool you've called, and it automatically works out where this island is. So that's everything you need to know. Thank you for watching.